The UK government has completely lost control of asylum policies. They've opened the floodgates, squandered taxpayer money and risked national security, all while silencing anyone who dares to object. This isn't compassion, this is recklessness, this is betrayal. Let's be absolutely clear, the UK is facing an asylum crisis unlike anything seen before. Towns are overrun, police resources are drained, crime is soaring, and British taxpayers are footing the bill for a system that benefits illegal migrants over hard-working citizens. And the worst part, this government doesn't care. Today, we're exposing the absolute mess our leaders have made. Stick around, because what you're about to hear will shock you. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the truth the mainstream media won't tell you. The asylum invasion, who's paying the price? Every year, tens of thousands of asylum seekers flood the UK, many of them arriving illegally. The Home Office itself admits that over 80% of asylum claims are fraudulent or unfounded. Yet they are processed anyway, burdening British taxpayers with billions in costs. Let's talk numbers. The government is now spending over £8 million per day housing asylum seekers in hotels. That's more than the entire annual budget for some NHS hospitals. Small towns across the country are seeing entire hotels and accommodations turned into asylum centres, making life unbearable for local residents. Schools, hospitals and local services are buckling under the pressure, yet the government's solution? Just keep letting more in. But it's not just the costs, it's the danger. Sexual assault and violent crime linked to asylum seekers have surged, yet reporting on it is considered racist. The government has even admitted to losing track of 10,000 migrants, many of whom could be criminals, extremists or traffickers. Illegal boat crossings have reached record highs because there's zero deterrent. The UK is seen as a free-for-all where anyone can show up and be handed food, shelter and even spending money. This is absolute madness. Britain is becoming unrecognisable and the people responsible are sitting in Westminster ignoring the chaos. Who is responsible for this government's betrayal? Make no mistake, this isn't just incompetence, this is betrayal. The key figures responsible for this disaster: James Cleverly, the Home Secretary. He claims to be tough on immigration, but has quietly increased the number of asylum approvals under his watch. Cleverly has spent millions housing migrants in hotels while British homeless veterans sleep on the streets. He oversaw the botched handling of illegal crossings, failing to implement any meaningful deterrents. Suella Braverman, the former Home Secretary, talked tough on stopping the boats, yet crossings increased under her tenure. She failed to get deportation flights off the ground despite promising action. Moreover, she signed off on absurd policies that put migrant rights over British citizens' concerns. Rishi Sunak, the recent Prime Minister, promised to stop the boats, yet the number of arrivals has exploded. He has wasted billions on asylum accommodation instead of funding services for actual British citizens, completely out of touch with the public's anger over the issue. KEIR STARMER, the Labour leader and Prime Minister. Think the Tories are bad? Labour wants even more asylum seekers. He has pledged to make it even easier to claim asylum and scrap deportation plans altogether. His party openly supports policies that put migrants ahead of struggling British families. And it's not just the asylum crisis they've failed on. Look at the other disasters these politicians have backed. Net zero madness, forcing people to replace gas boilers, banning petrol cars, and pushing expensive green policies that hurt working-class families. High taxes and inflation. The cost of living is through the roof, while migrants get free housing, free legal aid and taxpayer-funded benefits. Soft on crime police resources are drained dealing with asylum centre chaos, while actual criminals roam free. They are failing on every front and Britain is paying the price. And now, what about the insane waste of taxpayer money? If you thought this couldn't get any worse, you'd be wrong. Let's look at where your tax money is going. £2 million given to police to monitor an empty asylum camp. Yes, that's right, there were no migrants in the facility, yet the Home Office paid for police to guard it. £30,000 spent on driving lessons for asylum seekers. While British young people struggle to afford driving tests, the government is handing out free lessons to people who shouldn't even be here. £15.4 million wasted on an asylum site contaminated with asbestos. They bought the land, ignored the health risks, then had to scrap the whole project. This is absolute insanity, and it's happening every single day. Well, you should be worried. This is no longer just about wasted money. It's about the survival of Britain. Mass migration is fundamentally changing the country, socially, culturally, and economically. The government has lost control of the borders, and now anyone can claim asylum, even if they have no legitimate reason to be here. British citizens are coming second. Our own people are struggling, yet asylum seekers are treated as a priority. If this continues, what happens next? More crime, more overcrowding, more division. Entire towns transformed into migrant hubs with no say from the public. Police and government resources stretched to breaking point while you are expected to just accept it. The government is gambling with the future of Britain, and if they don't act soon, this country will never recover. The path forward, what needs to change now? Enough is enough. Here's what needs to happen immediately. First, stop the boats, no exceptions. If you come here illegally, you go straight back. No asylum, no exceptions. Second, mass deportations. Every failed asylum seeker should be deported within weeks, not years. Third, end the hotel scheme. No more taxpayer-funded luxury accommodation for asylum seekers. Fourth, British people first. Our focus should be on helping our own people, veterans, the elderly, struggling families, not illegal migrants. And finally, hold politicians accountable. The officials responsible for this disaster should be called out, named and voted out. Britain is on the brink of disaster, and our government is standing by, watching it burn. Every year more migrants arrive, more money is wasted, and British citizens are pushed further down the list of priorities. It's time to wake up. It's time to hold the government accountable. It's time to say no to reckless asylum policies. Because if we don't, Britain as we know it will be lost forever. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. The truth needs to be heard.